Blessings and wholeness, family. One love. What's up? Jesse Tree here, smiling in the sun. Spring is coming on. And welcome to Juicing with Jesse, where every week I share with my friends about how to live in alignment through permaculture and prana. So right now, I'm in my greenhouse that was gifted to me by my friends at Jimenez Pueblo. And I'm just getting it ready. All I did, if I can get a shot of it here, I don't know if you can see, but I just brought in some compost and fed these beds, cleaned them up, got the irrigation reset, and gonna plant that this week, this strong. I like the word strong rather than weak. Greetings, Rajules, one love. So getting geared up for the spring season, and just wanted to share this little thing. I'm gonna plant a little bit of garlic with you, and I just had this garlic on my counter and it started sprouting, knowing what season it is, and so I'm gonna put it in the ground. Garlic is really great to work in with your fruit trees because it's anti-pathogenic, so it will deter pathogenic bacteria in the soil that might affect your trees. So I like to work with KNF preparations, and one of which uses garlic and angelica and ginger and a bunch of good things to feed to the soil, because there's this interesting similarity, as above so below, sort of as within so without, reflection of the way a tree operates and the way we operate, both growing in the light, photosynthesizing, the pranic aspect. There's the root, just like the root, which is our microbiome in our gut, where if we develop the soil and we keep pathogens out, and we nourish it and hydrate, then the tree will thrive in the light, right? So just gonna pop these in the ground real quick, and garlic can be used in your fresh pressed juices as well. We're gonna do some juicing in a minute. It's not something I would suggest juicing really regularly. I would use it more medicinally for cases where you might be experiencing high viral load, worried about contracting something because there's a lot of flu going on, for instance, right now, and you can use garlic is good in those times. But according to Ayurveda, it's a little too rajasic or tamasic for those seeking the sattvic or spiritual life. So got these nice green garlic scapes. Just gonna pop them in, and this is gonna be not this year's garlic because I was away in Costa Rica in the fall, and I didn't do my garlic planting. And so garlic takes an overwintering or a fair amount of time just to develop its self. So these will be 2-year garlic, and they're more going to serve the purpose of just protection of my fruit trees. Here I have hugelkultur swales. You can kind of see there's a ditch there, and these swales have wood buried in them, and I put all the chop and drop and leaf down over. Gonna clean out those ditches soon because the acequia will start running if we have any water in the ditch. It's been very, very dry here in Nuevo Mexico. I know a lot of places are experiencing a lot of snow and cold weather, and yeah, I call it global weirding. My stepfather is actually one of the world's foremost global warming experts, and I can tell you, I think it's probably a half-truth. Like all things, all truths are half-truths. I think human beings are having an effect on our environment, but that's more through the geoengineering of chemtrails, etc. Which they were trying to stripe it up today, but look, the sky was unbeatable. So I'm just gonna pop a couple more in here. Let's see. So all of my fruit trees here, just kind of give you a small tour, if you can even see. So we got the grow dome, the greenhouse over there. Then we got sea buckthorn, which is a really great herb that actually, like chocolate, will help your body produce stem cells. That's the interesting thing too with prana and fasting. 72-hour fast, your body starts to, because your body is producing stem cells and has quite a supply of them, but they're not liberated usually. So the way to liberate them is actually through fasting. So anyway, we got our sea buckthorn, then we have currants over here. This is a donut peach, the one that I was just planting out with garlic. That is my eldest son's home tree, so we planted his placenta under there. And then we have my youngest son's, you can't quite see it, it's hidden behind this false indigo, but apple tree. I'm gonna go hit them up. And then my middle son, his tree died. I'm going to replace with a cherry. We got goji berries here, jujube date. So just a quick little tour while I pop in some garlic to protect my trees, and then we'll go make some juice. Welcome one and all. I think that Nabiha and Jerome may join me today, but I'm going to keep it kind of short. My wife has a migraine in there. I got to make my juice and get ready for tomorrow. I want to give you a little tour of our works here and some of the garden. You know, it's one of my great joys is gardening and permaculture, and I really think that this is how we're going to heal the planet, is nurturing each other, coaching and helping and supporting each other into these high states of health and pranic living. I see, just as my teacher Eli Tom had sort of foretold, we are in the age of light. This corresponds also with sort of the whole thing about the Kali Yuga, our orbit, our galactic orbit, as we're returning toward the galactic center. It's waking up our DNA, it's pinging the sun and the Schumann resonance, and this is all, pretty soon breatharianism will be known. They're starting to talk about it more and more, about the toxicity in food. And I heard a great interview. I highly suggest, if you haven't seen it already, go watch Jillian Berry's recent interview with Yaki Awakened, where he talks about, I've been screaming it for years, we as herbalists classify plants by their toxicology. Pop one more little garlic thing in here. So that's the thing with garlic. It's antiviral because it's really, these plants don't want you to eat them. They're trying to protect themselves, right? The only thing that wants you to eat it is the fruit, the reproductive part, which is the healthiest food on the planet for human beings. And whether you choose vegan, or if you're like, there's a lot of people out there getting massive healing with a fruit and meat diet, primarily fruit. And that is, if you look at our morphology, we are not carnivores. We don't have the teeth and the neck muscles and everything to tear and gnash and rip meat off the bone. You know, you don't have the claws. You have this convoluted gut that meat gets stuck in, you know, and impacts. So, but if you have enough fruit in there and enzymatic action, you know, I'm trying to get my sister on this because I've been trying to get her to turn vegan for some time. Ooh, there's some garlic already here. Beautiful. There's some right there. So I just added a little bit. So yeah, I won't go into her story for her privacy and stuff, but I think she hasn't been able to want to release meat, and she doesn't come from the same, you know, Buddhist ethical framework that I do. She resonates with it, but you know, that's the thing of giving people the dignity of choice. And this was something that came through on that interview too, of like not being dogmatic and definitely not foisting your beliefs on another just because they're working for you and you love them. And you know, I definitely dealing with that, and been dealing with that in my relationships for my whole raw and breatharian journey. And thank you all who are here right now, and just for hearing my my story and being with me in this time. This is one of the places I have, and I think many people can resonate, where you can sort of have a safe space to really sing your truth and find your community of people who resonate. So there, we just got like 10 cloves of garlic in the soil, protecting the fruit trees, and we can use that for juicing. Mostly I grow a lot of this food for my family. We also grow a lot of herbs in here, like tulsi and lemon balm and elderberry and nettles and things that we can use as herbs for our clients and our Etsy shop. So that's a little wingding tour about what's going on there. Let me show you one more thing. We'll go inside and make a juice. And I welcome any questions on permaculture, herbalism, prana, and I welcome any guests too. You're welcome to just jump on here with me and let's hang out. That's kind of the vibe I want with this. Is just relaxed. I'm gonna obviously sell my wares like everybody does on here. I got my herbs, I got my livelihood to make, my superfoods, and it's honestly something I just love and want to spread out throughout the world, as well as this information and knowledge about prana and permaculture, because these are all things we can do individually. We can undertake to transmute the world, transmute ourselves first, and aid all sentient beings. I'm here, doing my best with my skill set and my abilities to just nurture the land. Here you can see maybe there's these swales that I've put on contour. We had a big fire run through here, so I'm capturing the water and I'm planting apricots and allowing some. There's like Atroplex or four-ring saltbush over there, which is a relative of quinoa. So you can eat the seeds and you can eat the leaves, just creating habitat, nurturing plants, infiltrating water, helping people heal. Like, what if we all took that mode, and with the motivation coming from, loving kindness, we can completely transform our world, and we can create a new system that will support us. It's not the new system, it's the old system. The only system that will really ever support us, which is life itself. And there is no greater gift or wealth than your own life, right? There's nothing more lasting, more meaningful, so to honor our lives and to honor other people's lives. And hey Bodhi, quit digging over there, good boy. Let me show you this real quick and then we'll go in and I'll quit waxing philosophical. So here I am making a platform for our yurt, for our Airbnb. We got a Mongolian yurt. This is also going to be a retreat event space for pranic, group juice cleanses and pranic initiations, as well as we're going to do our usual once a year permaculture design course. And I'm going to just put them on cycle and do these two things once a year, so there's time to promote and people to get them on their schedule and stuff, because I want to bring these retreats to the highest level possible and really give people a full experiential download on pranic living, permaculture, herbalism, etc. So anyways, it is made of wood pallets. I was going to do this big wingding thing with my father-in-law, like big $13,000 deck. I can't afford it, but this I'm able to afford, and so I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. It's nice and level, it's very strong, and this space is going to be a 21-foot yurt here. So fun stuff, permaculture stuff, little show and tell. Glad to share that, and let's go in and make a little juice, shall we? Beautiful day, beautiful, beautiful. Giving thanks for life, give thanks and praises. Go watch that interview with Yaki, y'all. he talks about, okay, so I'm going to get into this. Because this is some of the thing with juicing in the liquidarian community. I've been doing coaching calls, and some of the people have been coming at me with issues around their teeth, and juicing lots of fruits. And Yaki talked about how he healed himself of diabetes on fruit juice, 120-day fruit juice cleanse. Also, if you're familiar with Fully Raw Christina, she turned around her type 1 diabetes on a monofruit diet. And he goes into the interview about the benefits of fruits, but he also points out very astutely, because he is actually a doctor as well as a master herbalist. I'm just an herbalist. And he is treating thousands of people and has their data. Their blood work, their, all their data, all their vital medical information. And he's finding that the great majority of people do best on a mainly fruit diet. But say if you're diabetic and you have a fatty liver, that can be problematic. That's where it becomes troublesome. Someone like myself, who's dry fasting 23 hours a day, there's plenty of time for the body to utilize all of the glucose, all of the glycation that is in my body, because I'm out there landscaping, gardening, and I don't consume anything except for during that hour of the day. It is coming up on my 4th year dry fasting 23 hours a day. So I've been at it for a while, and I can see as related to before, when I moved into liquidarianism and I was having a larger window, I was having tooth sensitivity and issues. And even in the dry fasting, I've had to remember myself that actually, and this is what Yaki points out, it's more vital, and this is also coming through the Juice Guru Institute and the whole medical advisory board that I'm learning through my certification, is that, primarily you want to juice greens. And they're detoxifying not because of any other reason, that they have toxic components that activate in the body the detox pathways, because the body's like, hey, we got to get this out. And it's the plant's chemical protection against being eaten. But we still have within that this mineral nutrient density combined with opening up the detox pathways that is vital. And that fruit juice, you'll get this concentration of fructose that can be demineralizing, can add to fatty liver, what have you, and like that, the tooth problems, etc., that some people experience. So if you're experiencing that, you're working with juicing, juice cleansing, juice fasting, just know that if you start finding yourself having tooth issues, or if you're diabetic and you have fatty liver, you're going to want to concentrate on greens and vegetables for juicing, and even fruits that are more like cucumber, zucchini, tomato, red pepper, things that are less sweet than our regular fruits. But we are all unique, and so some people are going to do better through fruit juice, and some people are going to do better through green juice. But as a rule, if you are in question or in doubt, or if you are if you're dealing with a debilitating, disease, a serious disease like cancer, there's the whole milieu, then you're going to want to concentrate on the greens and the vegetables as your juices, and eat the fruit whole, because what he points out is just a synopsis of, I don't want to spoil, because there's lots of juicing information in there. You have something called the glucobiome, which sort of informs and supports your microbiome. And so a fruit, fiber and sugars and everything all put together, it slows down the dump of sugars into your blood, so you don't spike your blood sugar too quickly if you're diabetic. also have the substrate that's perfect for this glucobiome. So just some tips on your juicing. If and I want to be helpful here and offer value, you know. So generally speaking, I actually blend fruits and greens with every juice. And if anything, I rely a little more on fruit. And I have, it's this whole thing Yaki also brings to mind that is important to consider is eating for your race. Just like there's different birds, and some birds eat worms, and some eat seeds, and some eat, carrion like vultures, the rotting flesh, and but we don't take into account that human beings coming from different microbiomes, different climatic zones, different cultures have different genealogical needs, and this is something that comes through in herbalism of like checking out someone's energetics, their mental and physical predisposition to try to help balance, knowing that we are all unique. So Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, would say, be your own doctor. And he would say, anyone who's not their own doctor is a fool. And in this time, ancient time, it's pretty prescient that I think we adopt that mind frame and inform ourselves about it. Like we're taught about finance and work and entertainment and all this, but like we're not really taught about how to live in our bodies and how to live with our consciousness. And I think this is what we're all craving and moving more towards. I'm just checking to see if there's any. Yeah, no comments yet. Let me know if you have any questions, y'all. Excuse me. So, kind of lost my train of thought there. But we'll just start with the juice. So, what I'm making today is going to be mandarin and beetroot carrot juice. And this is going to take me quite a while. I don't know. We'll see here how it goes, if anyone shows up. But I will just, share briefly here that citrus is great to utilize because one of, the whole thing about juicing is it's very much akin to fasting, and that you give your digestion a rest. You can absorb an extract of nutrient in structured water in less than 20 minutes if you juice on an empty belly and you just digest it. So that is very, very low impact when the estimates are that 75% of our energy goes to digestion. So, and there's actually foods that take so much energy to break down that you actually lose energy breaking down the food to absorb the energy in the form of ATP from it. So I like to suggest that food is prana, and that this is one of the avenues toward breatharianism that is overlooked. We're talking about, as a community, about the toxic things, and a lot of times the healing that people experience is just, if they go carnivore, or they go keto, or they go vegan, is like they've just gotten rid of all the stuff that was making them sick. Not that their specific diet is necessarily the healing diet, and it may be for them. And that's the other thing to recognize, is that what's good for you is good for you, what's good for me is good for me. And there's as many paths towards prana and this high livity as there are people, but the vegan, raw, liquid path, is where I'm at now and what I love. So, because it is very close to being pranic, I have my 1 hour a day in which I consume things. I consume my first juice and allow that 20 minutes, have like a half gallon juice. I'll allow 20 minutes for it to absorb. And then I will have my seaweed and my lettuce, which is a small amount, but I enjoy. So I just do that because it's enjoyable. I feel like it's also good to get a little bit of fiber, and this is kind of backwards from what I was just telling you. Of like I'll have fruit juice and then I'll have greens instead of having green juice and then having fruit. But I do experiment and mess around. Mess around with timing. I've been messing around with nut milks and nut milk elixirs. So generally speaking, what I eat in a day is I'll have one of these full of juice, half gallon. Then I'll have, those greens and seaweeds and some sea moss. And then I will have a power shake from Purium, the superfood company I work with, usually with a herbal tea base. Today it was red clover. And I've been working with red clover and goji because these are said to nourish and cleanse the blood as well. And in Taoist herbalism, the blood is the carrier of the qi. So, and according to Adama, this lady, I just love her sharings. Sort of the spirit is charged upon the blood. And so if your blood is full of all these impurities, of like all these toxins and petrochemicals and, the blood and mucus of, cows and all these things all up in your body, then the death, the trauma, then your blood is charged with that. We literally, chemically, like, she contends that we are, and I kind of agree, it's behavior modification, through adulteration, the intoxicants, these things that are, become these like insane cravings, and it's like the breatharian wisdom of these are all drugs, like milk, super high in opiates, even this juice, the sugar, and even the pranic path itself. It's a way of getting high. It's like, and that's okay. That's what we want. We want a high vibration. We want to feel good, and that kind of dovetails into my whole experience with psychedelics. And that was kind of what set the beginning of this, started me on this path. It was my first authentic spiritual experience using plant medicine, connecting with the earth through plants, in the wilderness. And it was a divine, inspiring, time, and got my mind out of, I grew up in a place, there was a highly scientific community, more PhDs per capita than any other place in the world, not a lot of creatives, but that was my bent, and I was kind of like in that inculcation of all that, and so the plants set me free, but what I've learned over the time studying herbalism and alchemy and etc. is the secrets in the secretions, that you have endogenous cannabinoids. If you got a big enough dump of your endogenous serotonin, you would have like a psilocybin type experience. You have DMT in your pineal gland. And my first psychedelic experience that did not involve psychedelics, I've had a couple. The first ones were actually the birth of my kids. It was really profound. But it was this sort of awakening experience through sun gazing. After I did a year of sun gazing and got up to 45 minutes, I totally felt my pranic channel, like my fontanelle, opening slowly and learning to consume prana through my crown, heaven chi, and sun chi, and just this feeling of total connection with everything, like this overwhelming, that kind of feeling makes you want to cry. It's so beautiful, the feeling of complete connection. That's what we are, and it's only our mental habits that keep us away from that continual experience. So that's what I'm seeking, is to, I felt like it was a very heart-opening psychedelic feeling, but very more holistic, And so if we can, through fasting and meditation and sun gazing and grounding and, practice, open up the secrets inside of our own body, in our own DNA and in our own biochemistry, and activate the pranic channels through meditation and practice. That's the number one thing. And definitely dietary practice is a massively important thing to that, but it is only a piece of a larger practice, and the main thing, practice being meditation. So, almost filled here with the citrus. So the citrus, I want to get back to why this is good. Thank you for hearing me out, family, hearing my little story and my experience. But citrus is really great because it's like a solvent. So, sometimes people will use like lemon juice to like clean really stuck stuff, And all this accumulation, this bioaccumulation that happens through the consumption of all these like processed things and stuff that we, Pop-Tarts and, whatever we experienced in our life, Hot Pockets and McDonald's, and this will break up that, McDonald's, they do these experiments, people will have like a McDonald's hamburger and french fries out on their counter for 6 years, and it doesn't degrade because it's full of preservatives and it has no enzymes, and enzymes are key to life. But prana, before that, as the ancient Chinese herbal medicine adage goes, medicine is not as good as food, and food is not as good as qi. So developing your qi is, developing your mind, what you study, what you read, what you talk about, what you think about. Meditation, developing your heart, a kind, loving heart. Developing your awareness of your energy management, your time management. Building your finances so that you're not drawn out and stressed out about how that's going, your relationships, your sexual energy, your creative energy. All these things have to be tended to, refined, disciplined into high state. But then the top is endless. So I'm going to throw this on for a minute and we'll walk out back into the garden and we'll come back in. I'm going to also throw sprouts into these. So the cool thing about sprouts is that this is basically the other benefit about juicing, besides the digestibility, essentially fasting and forming your body with structured water for the exclusion zone battery. But you also get a high nutrient density, which most of us are lacking. Even if you're overweight and you eat fast food and you're actually starving even though you're obese, and that's part of why, because they make the chemistry of these things addictive and they're empty, and so it's endless, and so it's really, if you're in that place, don't feel bad, because you've had a lot of forces against you, but you always have an opportunity to make a change. So that's where juicing, something you can do, anyone could do to really up their health, is just take 1 quart of juice in the rising, wait 20 minutes to digest before you have anything, and then you will at least get that structured water and nutrient density. Sprouts are kind of like juice in that these are also very nutrient dense, extremely nutrient dense. So when you juice sprouts, then you're getting like double up on this nutrient mineral density that makes your cells more electric and sort of sparks the pranic state. So anyone who's ever moved from standard American diet to raw food, we're all breatharians, but this is like a more rarefied form of prana, right? You got the Kirlian, photography showing the biophotonic energy of raw fruits and veggies being much higher. The nutrient density, the water density, the enzymatic density, and all of your biofunctions happen on enzymes. So So you're liberating your own endogenous enzymes to do that functioning. So your food is breaking itself down with this pranic force in it. And people say, my energy is so much higher, I feel so much better, so much clearer, So that's one level. The next is to fruitarian, and you should take time, as a segue. You not even think about the goal of it, but this is like the various rarefied forms of prana, and then you get up to liquiditarianism, and then eventually to full pranic state. And some people are blessed to not need all of that. It's like they're blessed by the gods, or something like Pranav Jali, who had goddesses come to him when he was like a child, and they were like, you never have to worry about food or anything again, but you have to go to the cave and go meditate. And so he did that for 75 years and didn't eat for 75 years. And they measured him in hospitals and stuff. So this is a real thing, people, and I want to help it crystallize in mind. But I want people who are interested in experiencing this to go forward safely, and not because I got my own self in trouble that way. I've seen other people, primarily, they understand that we're pranic, we're breatharian, the food is toxin, and they try to go too quickly into breatharianism, and they hurt themselves because of the autotoxicity that can happen once you start fasting deeply. It starts to liberate all that junk in our bodies and can really screw you up. So anyway, blah blah. Thank you, family. Hope this is helpful to y'all. I turn that on and walk away so you don't have to listen to it. I'll show you Shadow for a minute. This is my old dog Shadow, and he is blind in one eye because he got a cactus spine in his eye. But he's a really good dog. And dogs have been some of my best people in life. Very loyal, and it's interesting because on my pranic journey, full disclosure, like, I have started using cannabis again. Was part of it's one of my power plants. Chocolate, pine, nettle, etc. And I'm trying to be very mindful and intentional with my relationship this time, so it's not just something to suppress, and it's very important to approach the spirit plants, I think, with a reverential attitude and to be intentional to get the maximum benefit you're going to get out of them. And this connection I have with dogs too. Some of my best friends from the time, like, my folks split when I was young, and my dog became my best friend. So I feel this connection with canines, and there's this, it's cannabis, right? And that is related etymologically to canine, and Anubis, the Egyptian, god, who's a dog-faced god, and he's a netter, which is basically one of these nature archons, I guess. And generally speaking, I like to have like a freeform consciousness about things, but I connect with that. I think that there's other things from Tibetan. Tibetan culture is just really deep and really cool, and I really love it. And as well as the Zulu shamanism, that Credo Mutwa, is a practitioner of I think it's a I forget the name for their shamans. It's like a Sam something. And there's that connection with the Dogon and the Dog Star, the Sirius A and Sirius B, which is like a binary star, and how as a pole star, that's kind of the thing of like police, that they guard, and that the dogs are like guards. So the Dog Star are the pole star that is like kind of guarding our Earth system, as I understand it. Some cool stuff. There's things like that I love to get into as well. All this esoteric information and ancient information from across the world, really juicy. I think that's kind of our future, if you will, an ancient future, where we remember that we're all breatharians, that we're able to move objects with our mind, like, and sound like large blocks for megalithic crystal structures on energy nodes so that we can, activate our pineal gland and move to other dimensions without going anywhere. So, anyway, that orange is done. Now I'm gonna, usually with the Nama juicer, and if you're interested in a juicer, I do also vend juicers. So I've got superfoods, juicers, and herbs for y'all to support your health goals. But generally speaking, you're supposed to put the green stuff and light stuff in first. So I'm gonna put all those sprouts in there, and this is something you can really do easily on your counter, to grow your own food, even if you're living in the city and you're in an apartment and what have you. So then go in the beets. Beets are really good in terms of their high in nitric oxide, and so they open up your capillaries and stuff and get oxygen. You can also open up your capillaries with nitric oxide through nose breath, but dietarily you can use beets, and it's really great for recuperation after physical exertion. There we go. Go back outside. Trying to pop out of the juicer. So it can be really great for heart health, and just circulation in general. And we're getting here now towards the end of the day. It's been just warm enough that I've been able to finally sun gaze outside again, and I'm so thankful. I get a little bit seasonally affective when I have to stay in all winter, and it's dark and cloudy, and I can't be out in the sun gaze because it's too cold. And so hoping to go to Costa Rica for the next winter, so that I can enjoy that. But the last thing I'm going to put in the juicer in there is going to be carrots, and I kind of feel like I've shared everything that I meant to today. I just wanted to, share about the garden and give you guys a video and hopefully some information that could help uplift your health. So, the thing with carrots, of course, they're high in beta carotene. There's other forms of beta carotene, like, in cantaloupes and jackfruit and papaya, anything that's orange, and that's really good for eyesight if you're dealing with like vision problems, and stuff like that. A lot of the Sebiites will avoid carrots because they're a hybrid of sweet potato and wild carrot. Actual carrot is usually this white little thing about this big, and the greens of any carrot, have more nutrition than the root. But it's I'm kind of the mind of hybridization is something, as a gardener, that the plants sort of invite us to do, and that's how we've developed a lot of our foods. There is the thing to call into question. I've always held this supposition, this hypothesis, that the grains, particularly the sugary grains, rice, the grasses, grass juice is an amazing food. It's one of the first, progenitor foods. But the seeds tend to create candida, be a simple carb, so they spike your blood sugar. They tend to be problematic, and I think I have this idea that they cause us to be a divided society with a ruling class and a military class, and taxing because we get fields and then we plant it all off with these grasses, and that's our main food, and then it like plugs up our guts and plugs up our mind and spikes our blood sugar, and we're like kind of high on it all, and and then we, it's not that the highest diet for humans is going to be the wild, locally available, in season, foods, and that's mostly going to be plants. So hey, there's Nabiha. I was just about to wrap up, Nabiha, but you're welcome to join I am going to have to wrap up in 5 minutes because I had my juice as usual, and now my bladder's pressing on me. and I also have to wash my juicer. But if you want to jump on, you're welcome to. I mean, we'll just throw the last of this in. And this is an interesting kind of example that I always like to make. Your body is essentially a juicer. Everything you put in your mouth should have hydration in it, ideally, because otherwise your body has to exude its own waters to hydrate. You're eating crackers and you're eating a lot of cooked, and your body has to excrete enzymes and water to rehydrate it and replenish it with enzymes so that it'll break down. So, you know, this part, of course, is like the pooper, you know, and that's all that fiber is good prebiotic, you know, and it's a really important part, I think, of moving toward breatharianism is working with raw foods, you know, and veg and fruit, because it has the fiber that will work as an intestinal glue to scour out the, you know, mucoid plaquing and intestinal, you know, mucoid membrane, so that you can get greater absorption. You know, it's gonna also wash it out. You know, if you're juicing, you're also washing it out. So, you know, you take it in, it washes out. It's like a river. And so if the river's running dirty, the solution to pollution is dilution. And our issues are in our tissues. So to resolve some of our mental, spiritual issues, know that part of that is actually the detoxification of our bodies, of our lymphatic system. And that's what the orange will help with in this recipe, is that you know, solvency to cleanse the lymph system. So yeah, let's throw the rest of this in here, and then I think I'm just gonna wrap up. It looks like Nabiha's not gonna join today, but I hope you got something from this family. And I hate to leave so soon, but yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. When you drink a gallon of, let me pause that. You drink a gallon of juice, then you have to go to the bathroom a lot. Actually, a little more than a gallon. But anyway, so hope you got something from this family. Sending you all the blessed. One love. Good to see you there, Nabiha. Good to see you, everyone. Hey, Self Mastery Solar Man, you just joined on. I'm heading off, bro. But sending you lots of love. Blessings, family. Have a great day.